Hey there, welcome on board. We're super happy to have you here. And if you're here, it might be because you're feeling a little dizzy about your urban career. And actually, I just wanted you to know that for every single urbanist that I've met, and also for myself, it was no easy task to understand that, first of all, we like it urbanism, and also how to start a real career in urbanism. That's why we created this course, and we're very, very happy to have you on board. And thank you very much for the decision to be here with us. But of course, first of all, I wanted to share you a little more on my background and how it was for me and how it was on my experience to understand that I liked urbanism more than architecture. I am from Brazil, and in Brazil, we normally have a course that is called Architecture and Urbanism. So when you graduate in this course, you were both an architect and an urbanist. And actually, this is the case for most countries out there. It's normally a 5 or 6 year college, and when you graduate, you were both. And for myself, actually, I was very early on saying that I wanted to be an architect. My parents, they used to have this house by the beach. And whenever I went there as a kid, I was doing my sandcastles. And of course, the waves always came and washed them away. And I was super frustrated because I wanted to make castles that stay. So that's why I decided that I wanted to be an artist. And well, I never questioned myself actually. I grew up with this idea. And then when the time came to join college, to make the contest to apply for college in Brazil, I was certain that I wanted to become an architect. So when I finally got into college, it was very interesting to clash my idea of the experience with the real experience, right? Because I had this idea of the course in my mind. And actually, when I discovered how it was very challenging. But at the same time, it was very interesting because architecture and urbanism, it's a course that is very beautiful. There are so many, many paths that you can take. So it was for me a whole new world to understand. And uh, that there were so many possibilities out there. And while I was taking the college subject, I was always very interesting towards the humanity side of architecture. I felt very inclined to take like history of art, theory of architecture, theory of urbanism, and all this kind of stuff. While every time I needed to take the mandatory classes of engineering, like topography, mechanic of the soil, for me, it was a proper nightmare. It gave me real goosebumps. I hated it. Also, in the very first semester, actually, I when I handed my very first project with all its plans and the model and elevations and sketches and everything, I told a very good friend of mine, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that I've handed this project subject. What a relief." And when she looked at me and said, "Carolina, you know that you're going to be doing project for like at least 4.5 years. Like this is a subject that's going to be recurrent. Like every single semester you're having to take this course of project." And I was like, ah, okay. So it was complex and a long way to understand that I like it more urbanism than architecture. In Brazil, it's also mandatory that you take internships while you're doing your graduation. Normally, you're not allowed to do it in the very first year while you're in freshman year, but from the second year on, they are mandatory to be taken. So I had four different internships, and the very first one that I had was very interesting because I went to work for this company doing real estate developer for housing, and it was very intriguing to see their approach. So, for instance, during the morning, I was being told by my teachers that an architect needed to take care of the surrounding. So, whenever you decide to place a new building somewhere, you need to take care of how it's going to be for that community, right? And then actually in the afternoon, when I was in the internship, I was hearing, oh, this little houses, we're going to tear all of them apart. And we're going to place our buildings here, here, and here. And I was like, oh my God, this is so contradictory, right? So for me, it was very important to see these differences and to realize what I didn't want to do. My second internship, for instance, it was in a very famous urbanism and architecture studio. So the head architect, he had a TV show in a very popular channel, and he helped change and reframe the house of people. And it was very, very nice. But also, it took me to places that I never imagined. Like, for instance, doing catwalks of the São Paulo Fashion Week, which, of course, it was a very nice experience. But then I saw, that's not exactly what I want to be doing. So for me, those internships, they were very, very important to understand my path and above all, what was not for me. Actually, I believe we have this idea that we are going to get it right from the very first time. And actually, the process is quite the opposite. For me and from my experience, it's more like a try and fail process. So basically, you put yourself out there, you try something, you kind of get the taste of it and understand if this is for you or not. Then, once you discover that this path is not for you, you just say, okay, I tried, but I'm crossing this out of my list because this is not for me. So, I guess it's really important to open all the little doors that there are out there so you can try, you can see if this fits you, if this is something that is interesting for you, and if it's not, that's okay. I believe there is no doing it right, you know? It's important that you put yourself out there, you understand if this is for you, and if it's not, that's okay. So that's why we decided to create this course, so we can help you to open some of those little doors and give a little sneaky peek out there and understand if they are for you or not. So, again, welcome on board. We are very happy to have you, and let's open some doors.